Hi, I'm Tony Kramer, Product Specialist with RDO Equipment Company. Welcome to the Agriculture Technology Podcast on RDO Equipment Company's YouTube channel.
Every day, there are phenomenal advancements being made in the field of agriculture technology. RDO Equipment Company is a leader in agriculture equipment and precision agriculture technology and is here with industry experts to bring you the latest news and information from RDO and John Deere. Thanks for joining us on the Agriculture Technology Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This is episode number 97, and we are going to pick back up with our conversation with Blaine Ginther of SureFire Ag Systems and talk more about the product offerings that SureFire has. If you have not listened to the first part of this episode, I would encourage you to go back to episode number 96, where we got to hear about Blaine himself, kind of where he comes from, as well as the start of SureFire Ag Systems, and the one product we touched on, the liquid application system that is very near and dear to the SureFire Ag family, because it's kind of where they got their start. So go back, listen to episode 96, catch back up with us here on episode 97, and we'll dive back into the show and learn more about SureFire Ag and the products that they offer. The next product I want to talk about is something that you guys are seeing increased take rates on, is the QuickDraw system. It's a very neat system. I kind of understand the theory of it, but you will definitely explain it way better than I could, Blaine. So why don't we talk a little bit about the QuickDraw system?
To put it in its simplest form, QuickDraw is an automated spray tender system. That's been wholly designed in-house. Again, going back to that 5-year time frame, we knew we needed to diversify our product offering, and we had a lot of customers who asked us to help them increase their mixing speeds, make that more accurate. And so QuickDraw addresses that. To give you a visualization, it's about the size of a tote. It mounts a lot of times on trucks. It can mount stationary, but a lot of times it's on a nurse truck out in the field that might have a large tank of water or fertilizer as a carrier, and then a variety of totes on the truck for the chemical. And the way that the QuickDraw works is we have an app, an iPad app, to where you go in, you create those recipes on the iPad, and the iPad will connect up with the QuickDraw controller. And at that point, you'll be able to choose your recipes that you want to apply. So it simplifies it down to you basically go and turn your pump on. Once your recipe is chosen, you hit start and you stand back, and that system will follow the recipe that you loaded into it. And that might be a preload of carrier, let's say 200 gallons, and then it will start mixing the chemicals in the order that you asked it to mix. We use a mass flow meter in the QuickDraw, and the mass flow meter is something that's used in the food and beverage industry, the oil and gas industry. It's a micro motion flow meter, so it's one of the higher end flow meters available. And we chose to do that because we can't put a product out there where we think we're going to be accurate. We need to know that that's going to be accurate. And with our software enhancements and the ability to communicate with that flow meter, we know when we have air in the line, we may be sucking a tote dry. We can actually give a notification on that. So with QuickDraw, what we've seen in terms of the reasons that people will buy that QuickDraw is it's a closed system. You don't have to be in constant contact with chemicals. And then also we have an unparalleled accuracy of plus or minus 0.5% on that flow meter. And also the speed in loading, that's big. We're able to load a 1,200 gallon batch very commonly in 8 minutes. And that could be a lot of times take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We talked to a gentleman yesterday that was 45 minutes mixing a batch for his wheat. And so the gain there is you're going to have a lot less hours on your sprayer idle time, and the economics pay off. We can take a 120-foot boom and essentially turn it into a 175-foot boom, and allow you to apply your products in a more timely fashion, or get over more acres, or have more free time. And we know all of those are benefits.
Yeah, they're not only the efficiency, but also, like you said, the closed system, not coming in contact with the products all the time. And we're talking safety and efficiency. The QuickDraw system really has a list of benefits in its own. Another product that you guys offer, kind of similar to the QuickDraw system, but more so focuses around irrigation. Let's talk about the Marksman a little bit.
Sure. Marksman is a fertigation and chemigation system with remote connectivity. It also is a flow-based system. And what you see a lot of in the market is fertigation and chemigation has not evolved a lot over the years. There are a lot of pumps out there that are just pumps. Growers will go and set those to a specific stroke setting, and you walk away and you hope it applies the right amount. And most times that happens, but we've evolved to a point where now if we take what we use in our flow-based systems for liquid application on planters, and now we're doing something in fertilizer, and now when we're doing something in irrigation where everything's happening a little bit slower, it's really not that challenging to dial in on a rate with Marksman. So you basically have a controller and a VFD, and again a flow meter, the electromagnetic flow meter, and a pump, or we have a no pump unit where we actually we would put a pulse dampener on an existing pump and add control to that existing pump. And with Marksman, there's a web portal that we've created, and the web portal gives you the ability to remotely monitor, control, change rates, and that type of thing with Marksman. It also sends you text alerts if it's off rate. We have the ability to shut down the pivot if something goes wrong, say a plugged filter or something like that. We can't get to rate. And we also have the ability for the if the pivot stops, we would shut the Marksman off as well. That's an open API, as are most of our products. We like working with the technology that growers have. So with Marksman, that's a product that we've known that fertigation and chemigation haven't evolved a lot over the years. So our focus has been to bring automation to that application, and we do that with flow control, much like our liquid application systems, but this is in more of a stationary sense. Yes, we have a pivot moving, but it's moving a lot slower. So we bring a controller and a VFD and a pump into the mix, and a flow meter, and we use the same electromagnetic flow meter with Marksman as we do our liquid application system. So again, not a lot of moving parts with that system, so it's very reliable. And we also have the ability to web interface with that, log the products that are being applied, send out text messages when we can't hit a rate, or if there's problems such as a plugged filter and that type of thing. So you're immediately notified of problems. You also have the ability to go in and change rates remotely, which is a huge advantage. Another thing that we've built into Marksman is the ability to monitor the water flow, and in some markets that's been a very big thing. So if you do have a pulse output flow meter on your water, we can both measure that, and then we can also proportionally control the fertilizer based on the water output. And with that, we'd think of corner arms where the arm opens up and we're applying more water than we were when it was closed, and so we would apply more fertilizer to the corner arm area, and then when it folds up, we would drop that fertilizer rate back, and there's huge savings in that, as much as 40% fertilizer savings, and you're starting to see a little bit more being done on variable rate irrigation. And if you have nozzle control and a VFD on your pivot, we're able to scale back that fertilizer output based on those systems as well. So it gives you full control in an area where in the past it's sort of walk away and hope that it happens correctly. We can guarantee you that it'll happen right and provide a lot of money savings at the same time.
Yeah, I know myself traditionally thinking irrigation, it's an old school manual process. You start up that pump, you crack the valve, you do what you need to, and you let it go. But there's so much more technology evolving and being introduced into the irrigation industry. Blaine, the last product I want to talk about here is another form of Sentinel, but it's the Sentinel NH3 system. So you guys have started to dive into the NH3 anhydrous market a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Sentinel NH3.
Sure. Well, one of the things we know on anhydrous is, a lot of times we're running underneath the ground, and it's easy to get a blocked tube on anhydrous, a frozen tube. We've taken the Sentinel framework that we use for liquid, and it's a different type of sensor. It's a temperature sensor that goes on each row, but we're running that on our ISO Sentinel framework. In the cab, you're able to see those temperature changes on each row. We're continually evolving this product to turn that temperature information into flow information. In this past year, we put about 20 Sentinel NH3 systems out in the field. Got along great, got great feedback from growers. We just know there's going to be a lot of ways to enhance that product over time, but there's not a great anhydrous monitoring system on the market that runs via the ISOBus that can be shared across different precision ag platforms. So we're very excited about that. And it's another way, just like with our Sentinel system, that you learn about the health of your application system, and you're able to correct changes, correct problems, and make changes as you go.
Yeah, you guys have such a great line of products, the different offerings within liquid application, that QuickDraw system that increases the efficiency and safety of those tender truck drivers, water truck drivers. But also we talked Marksman, and this new Sentinel NH3 is really exciting to hear about. With all of those products that are out there and the time you guys have been in business, there's got to be some sort of a success story that you'd like to share with our listeners about. Maybe it's about one of the products or one of the customers or dealerships that you work with. What could you share with us there, Blaine?
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things that come to mind when you bring that up. I think one particular area I'd like to focus is in the Pacific Northwest, and specifically with RDO. That has been a very rewarding relationship. And with that and the evolution of Green Star rate control, when I first started traveling up there was a lot of brown box control going on 8 years ago. And I feel like we were able to help kind of pull that along in that particular area. And since that time, we've had a lot of the RDO locations take ownership and work with us. And with the evolution of the RC2000 in the potato market up there, we see you guys connecting RC2000 to control the population rates of the potatoes, to control 1 or 2 liquid fertilizers, and even a fungicide on the back. So there are a lot of things going on with that system. You add Sentinel into the mix, and the guys up there have been super good about integrating everything and just providing a great grower experience. So yeah, that one stands out among many others.
That's a great success story to hear, that how SureFire Ag system works with the Pacific Northwest and more specifically some of our RDO locations out there. If somebody wants to learn more about the great portfolio of products you guys offer, where can they go? Who can they talk to learn more about SureFire Ag systems?
Sure. Well, one of the ways is we work with most of the John Deere dealers across the country. other high-level precision application companies. And then, of course, our website at SureFireAg.com. There's a request a quote button. There's a lot of information there. Our YouTube channel has a lot of great videos on our products. And then on the website, we give you the contact information for our territory managers, where we do have a territory manager across the U.S. In all the regions. And so a lot of resources there. We like to educate and build relationships, and we like people to have an experience like they haven't had with liquid fertilizer and with filling a sprayer and with fertigation and chemigation. We really think we can change that whole dynamic of experience that people have had.
I just want to thank you, Blaine, for taking the time to sit down with me today and really talk about all of the different products that SureFire has to offer. It's cool to hear the background story and how the company got started and everything you're working on from the very beginning with liquid application all the way up to any Sentinel NH3 and what you guys are doing there. So thanks again for sitting down and doing this.
Yes, and thank you very much, Tony. It's been my pleasure. We really appreciate the relationship that we have with RDO, so thank you.
Thanks again for listening. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for upcoming podcasts or visit rdoequipment.com/podcast to listen to new episodes and catch up on any that you've missed. You can also listen and subscribe to our podcast on any device or streaming service so that you will never miss out on the latest news and technology from RDO Equipment and John Deere.